content discovery is kind of an opaque term, but I think it boils down to something so simple, which is, what to do next, right? So there's that age-old question of what you want to do next. And in our case, what we do is try to help people read something after what they're reading. How we differ from some of the players in the space is we really focus on the publishers. I think the space has become more of an advertising network, and what we really try to do is help the publishers figure out what they want to do from an editorial perspective, and also control the ads that will show up, which I think is increasingly becoming an issue in the space. We have kind of a crack team of techies that are looking at every single signal that we can deduce to try to figure out what we should be serving up next. And that's a mixture of personalization, like cooking people and figuring out what they're reading and what's being consumed by them. That's also what's on the page around, the keywords and phrases and actual entities that you see on the page. But then also we took behavioral signals, try to cluster people, a lot of kind of PhD level computer science to try to figure out, given this article and this person and the time of day and the device and all these other kind of signals, what's trending on the site, what's trending outside of the site, all these kind of signals kind of collapse together to try to figure out what we should serve up next for the person. We started really in the blogosphere, finding a nice home in the blogosphere. We're kind of the antithesis of all the other companies in the space. Raised 500 grand in funding and built this company to acquisition last summer, and really kind of grew up in the blogosphere, which is primarily text-based content. And now, now with video, as you can see here, getting that prominent, we're starting to roll out a suite of tools for video discovery as well. So, we think it's kind of a natural evolution. It's another content that we should be recommending. And we think we can take the same kind of tool set that we've built in content and do it in video. Again, very publisher focused, giving publishers the control that they want, both for what we surface from their content, and also what is and what is not showing for ads as kind of a monetization mechanism for them. If you're on a CBS site, let's say CNET, for example, on CNET, what we'll be doing is recommending some articles from CNET, but also recommending articles that are off-site, which CNET will make money if somebody clicks on. And those types of articles can be from brand advertisers or other publishers. And so, for example, Intel, if they have an article that they'd like to promote, we can position that article on a CNET page, which is exact audience they're trying to get to, right? And on the flip side, if CNET wants to promote an article on a tech blog that also uses our software, we have the capability to do that. So basically, anyone who's publishing content on their site, from a small blogger all the way up to kind of big sites like CNET, can either syndicate their content out through our network, which is over 70,000 sites now, doing about 3 billion impressions a month, or they could use our tool to recommend more content and consume more page views on their site, and also make some money on some of the content that might go off-site. Actually, we were very surprised internally when we saw similar engagement rates as we did on desktop web for our unit, right? So I was actually personally a naysayer saying, oh, we're not going to do that well on mobile. But it turns out if you start thinking about the problem, to do search and to navigate the web on mobile is a frustrating experience, right? So just pull out your phone, between the speeds of the carriers, the keyboard constraints, and just the speed of the phone itself. Sometimes it's really hard to get and kind of browse the web like you do on a desktop. So our tool actually gets pretty good engagement. So if you're reading a page and you want more information, or if you're ready to consume another page, we're the easiest way to get from point A to point B. That's on mobile web right now. We are starting to experiment on in-app recommendations as well.